Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business.
What was the last iconic, perfectly Spielberg-ian action scene? A scene that isn't just technically impressive, but has all the elements that make Spielberg action scenes unique and memorable. Is it the final battle scene from Ready Player One? The one-take insanity from Tintin? Swinging with monkeys and Crystal Skull? The alien attack from War of the Worlds? The jetpack chase from Minority Report? I mean, obviously it has to be the Omaha Beach scene from Saving Private Ryan, right? Well, actually, no. And as amazing and stunning as that opening scene is, which it is, please don't yell at me in the comments. Or actually go for it, boost the algorithm. That scene misses a specific Spielberg-ian quality. I'd argue that the last perfect action scene was over 25 years ago, in The Lost World Jurassic Park. No, it's not the King Kong style scene at the end when the T-Rex runs amok in San Diego. I'd actually argue that that scene more closely resembles the others that I previously mentioned. It's actually from this scene right here.
Hands up!
Now, The Lost World Jurassic Park isn't one of Spielberg's best regarded films. In fact, it's probably near the bottom of his filmography. But this scene might just be the last perfect action scene that he ever directed. Let me explain. But first, let me take a minute to thank the sponsor of this video, Mubi. I've been partnering with Mubi for years now because they're an outstanding curated streaming service dedicated to highlighting exceptional films from all over the world. From iconic directors to emerging auteurs, there's always something new to discover. Whether you're a lover of cinema or you want to educate yourself about under-the-radar films, Mubi has you covered. When I want to educate myself about film history, I love picking a director and diving into their filmography. I mean, it's why I love talking about Spielberg's filmography so much. And when you go back to their earlier films, like Duel and Jaws, you're able to track their progression and influences as a filmmaker and get glimpses into who they will eventually become over time. You can track directors' filmographies over at Mubi. In fact, right now they're highlighting 3 films by Todd Haynes. You can see his popular 2007 film I'm Not There, an unconventional biopic about Bob Dylan, and then you can go back to some of his first films, Safe and Velvet Goldmine. Get an entire month of great cinema free by going to Mubi.com/entertaintheelk. Every film is hand-selected by a team of curators. Discover the best of cinema at your fingertips, streaming anytime, anywhere. Again, go to Mubi.com/entertaintheelk for a free month and check out everything Mubi has to offer. And now, let's get back to the essay. Spielberg action scenes fall into 2 categories. First, there's spectacle. These are usually massive set pieces with so much going on. These include all the examples I mentioned earlier, but this also includes the opening scene to Raiders of the Lost Ark and the bicycle chase in E.T. In these scenes, we're usually experiencing the events as they unfold along with the characters. We're caught off guard, excited, or scared at the exact same moment as the characters on screen. It's more spontaneous and shocking. We have no idea what's going to happen next. All you can do is simply get swept up in it as everything washes over you. Again, take the Omaha Beach scene from Saving Private Ryan. Spielberg shoots this so we can experience the chaos and brutality and randomness of war, mostly through the eyes of Captain Miller. This is a similar approach to War of the Worlds, when the tripods start attacking, and the massive battle at the end of Ready Player One. We're basically just living from moment to moment, taking everything as it comes. It's all about the intent of the director, and in those scenes, Spielberg wants the audience to get caught up in the awe and spectacle of these larger-than-life scenes. But these aren't my favorite kind of Spielberg-ian action scenes. Those fall into the second category, suspense. Suspense is all about information. It goes back to Alfred Hitchcock. It is indispensable that the public is made aware of all the facts involved. Otherwise, there is no suspense. Give the audience pieces of information. Give them multiple things to hold in tension simultaneously that they can track throughout an action scene.
Excuse me, Chief.
With spectacle, there's so much going on, and even though it is technically impressive, it can sometimes lack clarity, weight, and suspense. In Spielberg's best action scenes, he uses the camera to give the audience information. In Duel, he shows us the rising speedometer as the tanker truck barrels down on our main character. In another scene, the viewer watches the tanker truck sneak up behind the main character, who has no idea his life is in imminent danger. This use of dramatic irony, where the audience is made aware of something that the main characters aren't, only adds to the suspense. Spielberg employed the same method of dramatic irony to increase suspense in Jaws. He did this through the POV of the shark creeping closer and closer to the swimmers on the surface, quick glances like the dorsal fin or the body obscured by the water, also by the barrels, which signify the shark to the audience, popping up and speeding around the boat. These action scenes didn't need to be massive set pieces in order to achieve that Spielberg-ian suspense. Two perfect examples of Spielberg taking small, simple scenes and injecting them with heightened suspense can be found in the raptor kitchen scene in Jurassic Park, and its spiritual successor, the aliens in the basement in War of the Worlds. The blocking in both is phenomenal, with Spielberg constantly fluctuating the suspense up and down, and showing the main characters and the monsters in frame together to highlight the proximity in these tight spaces. But again, Spielberg gives us information to build the suspense in these scenes. In Jurassic Park, it's the small hints of the raptors, like the silhouette, the door handle slowly turning, their talons creeping across the kitchen floor. The War of the Worlds basement scene plays out in a similar fashion. Predator and prey in tight proximity, accidental noises breaking up an otherwise painfully quiet space. I love how the scene builds in intensity as it starts with a single probe, and as it retracts and our characters start to feel at ease, suddenly multiple scouts come down to inspect the area. But another way Spielberg builds suspense is by juggling and tracking multiple elements.
Ellie, boot up the door locks!
In Jurassic Park, the raptor scene in the kitchen turns into the children having to hack into a system to lock a door, the adults trying to reach a gun, the raptors trying to get inside. And in War of the Worlds, Ray has to hide himself and his daughter, but he also has to repeatedly stop Harlan from attacking the aliens. First, he pleads with him to not chop the probe with an axe, and then he has to quietly use force to stop him from shooting at the aliens. I think this is one of Spielberg's greatest strengths with his action scenes. He's able to create heightened suspense by giving the audience information as well as multiple elements in a particular scene to track. Some of Spielberg's best action scenes tell multiple stories at once. One of my favorite examples of this is the Nazi fistfight by the plane in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's break this scene down and see how Spielberg uses the camera to give the audience information while also having multiple elements running simultaneously in order to build suspense. Indy tries to sneak up on the pilot to stop the plane from taking off. A giant super Nazi emerges. While hiding behind the plane, Marion removes the cinder blocks, blocking the wheels. The pilot grabs a pistol, forcing Indy to stay and fight or otherwise get shot. The pilot is knocked out by Marion, but now that the cinder blocks have been removed, the airplane and its dangerous propellers start to rotate. Marion tries to stop it, but gets locked in the cockpit. Marion notices more Nazis showing up and shoots them from the cockpit. The rotating airplane slices a barrel of gasoline. The pilot's pistol is on the ground, but keeps getting blocked by the rotating plane. Marion shoots barrels that explode and start a fire. Indy wants to run, but can't when he sees Marion trapped. The gasoline covers the ground under the airplane. Indy tries to free Marion, but the super Nazi continues to stop him. The gasoline inches closer and closer to the fire. Indy and the super Nazi keep fighting. A propeller blade kills the super Nazi. Indy grabs the pistol on the ground. The gasoline catches the fire. Indy uses the pistol to free Marion as the fire approaches the plane, and then they finally run away as the airplane explodes. There's multiple storylines to track in this one scene. The fist fight, the rotating plane, Marion getting trapped, the gasoline spill and the fire, and all these storylines build together, weave in and out of each other, and come to a satisfying conclusion at the same time. This is the kind of iconic, well-crafted Spielberg-ian action scene I'm talking about. But even this is relatively smaller in scale to some of his other action scenes. The real magic is when he's able to combine spectacle and suspense together. A perfect example of this is when the T-Rex first breaks free from its enclosure in Jurassic Park. And the previous example I mentioned from The Lost World Jurassic Park, when the two T-Rexes attacked the trailer. Again, these action scenes have so many elements working in tandem, building together that the audience can track. The Lost World as an entire movie is kind of a mess, but this single action scene is phenomenal. The baby T-Rex calls for its parents. The T-Rexes push the trailer over the cliff.
Oh God, please.
Eddie drops a rope and then tries to pull the trailer to safety. Ian and the others climb the rope. The T-Rexes come back and kill Eddie, and then they climb up the rope to safety. It's impossible to do these scenes proper justice while slicing them up, breaking them down to their core elements, story beats. I wish I could just play them in their entirety here on YouTube, but then this video would get taken down. But breaking them down like this is what good directors do, taking all the pieces and putting them together. And when you can combine spectacle and suspense, well, that's when you get Spielberg-ian movie magic. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it, share it with a friend, and also leave me a comment below. Tell me, what do you think is the perfect Spielberg action scene? Just in some way, if you could engage with this video to help appease the algorithm god so they'll share this video with more people. On that note, if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed, but also make sure you're clicking the bell below so that way you're notified whenever a new Entertain the Elk video comes out. I mention this all the time, but I just had another recent comment on my newest video saying that they've been subscribed to my channel for literally years and YouTube isn't sharing my videos with them anymore. It's dumb, I hate it, but the only way to circumvent that is to click that bell below. That way you'll get notified whenever a new video comes out and you won't have to rely on your homepage and YouTube sharing my video with you. Shout out to my patrons out there for supporting the channel. Check the link in my description below if you're interested in supporting this channel, and you can see the unique rewards that patrons get on this channel. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.